My friends, I love doing Bible study. It is one of the things, not just Bible study, because I do Bible study multiple places. I love doing Bible study here, specifically here. And it's one of the things I look forward to every single week. I have a stupid traffic ticket. Yeah, you did get a Jezebel notification. I'm very disappointed. I'm not going to be able to do it right now. Maybe I will be able to later in the afternoon. We'll have to see. I was really happy with what we were going to be talking about today, but I don't think I'm going to have time. I'm supposed to be meeting in court. It was for a stupid traffic ticket. I was going to be meeting with them in the morning, and they kept on pushing it an hour. And so all of my morning and my lunch break have been taken up with waiting to be brought in. They sent us all for lunch, and I'm probably going to be addressed by the court via Zoom. So advantages of living post-COVID. I'm probably going to be called in like when Bible study normally starts, which is my version of 1:15. I don't know where anyone else is. Please come out, talk to me for like 10 minutes if anyone is there. I think Yoav is not joining because he's like, what the heck is happening? If you guys have not noticed, in the background, I'm working on a new piece. It's going to be oh, there you are. Hello, Yoav. Yoav has reached the beatific vision. I can see the glory coming from your head. Veil you like Moses. I'm really sorry to be leaving you in just a few minutes. How are you, Yoav?
Well, I'm fine. If you have no other business, I can share with you war stories.
Are they current war stories?
Of course, current war stories.
All right, share with me a war story, and I'm sorry if I leave in the middle of it.
Yeah. Do you want me to leave the channel open when you leave?
Sure. I can leave you. I can leave it. I know I can leave both the two of you in control of this stream and not feel bad about it.
Okay. So we can keep the stream going while you're in court. I only heard about a minute of it. I'm eating breakfast, but I was going to listen to your stream. So
anyway, the bottom line is no Bible study today, unless you undertake. And I haven't prepared any.
Let's do Bible study. The Bible must go on.
Okay, first off, I will do it. Yoav was going to share with us a war story.
Okay.
I just did the story. I mean, Jacob has heard it several times, I'm sure. Chezi has more hair-raising stories that I can. I think Chezi should start with it. Well, basically, all is well. We had a frightening 2.5 days. And now it's basically routine. The problem is that they don't let us sleep. The Iranians and the Hezbollah keep dripping rockets at us overnight. Nothing to cause any real injury. But it's still annoying. You have to rush to the shelter. And then you come out of the shelter and there's another alarm and you go into the shelter again. So last night I slept quite well, but the night before, nobody in Tel Aviv slept. We all rushed in and out of shelters all nights. That is the summary of a longer story.
This was missiles from Iran or Hezbollah or both?
Both. If the missile comes from Iran, you got 10 minutes warning. So you got a notification to your cell phone, and you get ready, and then you get the sirens go on, and then, or sometimes they don't. Sometimes the missile is intercepted long before it reaches the borders of Israel, and then you just get the warning, but no siren. It's from Lebanon, you don't get much of a warning.
Is your shelter a separate building, or is it?
It's under my building.
Okay.
So it's about 3 flights of stairs down and 3 flights of stairs up several times at night. Keeps me fit.
Yeah.
It depends how old is your flat. New flats will have a strong room in the flat, or sometimes you have something common per floor. Some people don't have shelters if the house is very old. Then you go to a communal shelter, like in a school or to a metro station.
Yosef is joining us, which means I'm sorry my prayers didn't work. I was praying that you got better, my friend.
I have to ask Yosef a question, which I doubt he can answer, but from publicly available information, Yosef, what is the range between a drone operator and the drones?
For military drones, they can
Yes.
be pretty darn far. They can be very far. You don't need line of sight or anything. Like
Yeah,
I mean in miles.
be across.
Yeah, let me split it into three types.
Yeah,
First question about FPV drones. Second questions about reconnaissance drones, and third questions about suicide drones.
I'm mostly actually interested in the suicide drones because from what I understand, those are the drones which are currently dominating the skies of Tehran, and I can't understand how they might be doing that from Tel Aviv.
How many light seconds are there between Tel Aviv and Tehran?
Can we pause 1 second? I think Cassandra is making a very good point. I'm just about to leave, and everyone shows up, including Stephen, who I have never met. Hi, Stephen. Welcome.
Wow, Stephen's on a stream, but it'll be the shortest stream we have.
To the Bible study that is not. Yeah.
It's perfect.
I suggest that we improvise something. I mean, Jacob can always...
How many people are going... Stephen is also illuminated by the glory of God. Yoav came on, and he's got the glory right. Yeah, just the beam coming down. Okay.
I suggest that I don't want to interrupt your sequence in Kings 2. But I suggest that Jacob will just dream up an interesting chapter, something not too controversial.
Oh, sure. I'm thinking let's do Ki Malachav Yetzavelach. Lishmorcha b'chol darchecha.
Psalm 91, I think. Is that right?
Psalm 91?
I think that's what you're
Sounds
quoting.
good to me.
Yes, I was going to say, we can just take a different chapter from a different part of the Bible. Like, we can even be doing the parallel chapter in Chronicles if we wanted, the King's one.
I have decided Ki Malachav Yetzavelach because for me, like, I keep on imagining these drones all over. Okay, I am going to have to show you guys a music video off Twitter.
Just a second. Tell me the number.
I think it's 91, but I'm going off the top of my head, and I'm not an expert in numbers.
91 is cool.
I am going to subject you guys.
Or is it 94? It's either 91 or 90. Sorry, 91 or 93.
To this little picture.
Yeah, no, 91.
So this is a video which, even if it is AI, I can very much believe is the what is going on in Tehran right now, which is a lot of young people sitting with their musical instruments and strumming along as they watch the city burn, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, let's do Bible.
Really about the vibe.
Which one? Sadi Aleph?
Yeah,
Tzaddik
Tzaddik Aleph.
Aleph, yes.
It is
Oh.
too bad that Rusher isn't here because, and from your server, Jacob, because his dissertation was on this song.
Oh, really? Yeah, he actually left
whatever
the
his thesis. Oh, he left the server. Whatever his thing was, his thesis or his whatever it was.
yeah, he left the server quickly
Oh, that's too
yesterday,
bad.
and I'm not sure why.
Oh,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
I think
I
my
don't think-
advertisement of 15 minutes will prove to be a lie. That's
Yeah,
what
you're-
I'm really getting.
definitely a lie. But let's at least
Well, it's
recite the
just not-
psalm.
It's not
Okay,
David's
but-
Bible.
Yeah, just let me finish the last sentence. It's how many? Ask Grok. How many light seconds are between Tel Aviv and Tehran?
Ask Grok.
Ay, ay.
How many light seconds? How many light seconds between Tel Aviv and Tehran? Grok is telling me the straight line distance between Tel Aviv and Tehran, approximately 1,585 kilometers. That would be in light seconds would be 0.005 seconds.
So that's your delay.
Okay,
Um,
that still doesn't tell me What-
It means no delay.
what
Yeah.
the watchers over the city of Tehran that are blowing up the demons over the city of Tehran are up to.
They could
So-
be sitting in a cafe on the beach in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, it's well within range. I can for the long range loitering munitions, especially like the Shahed and like those guys. Their
Yeah.
ranges are between 1,000 and 2,000 kilometers. The Arash is about 2,000. China's is the Rainbow is is about 2,000. Russia has longer ones. Russia has ones that go up to like 3,000 kilometers for combat.
Okay, so there are conceivably people sitting in Jerusalem,
No.
commanding angels in Shushan, and nobody thinks this is biblical.
I do. I always said it was.
Okay. יושב בסתר עליון בצל שדי יתלונן, אומר לאדוני מחסי ומצדתי, אלוהי אבטח בו, כי הוא יצילך מפח יכוש מדבר אבות. בעברתו יסח לך, ותחת כנפיו תכסה, צינה וסוחרה אמיתו, לא תירא מפחד לילה, מחץ יעוף יומם. Oh my God, that is amazing. מדבר באופל יהלוך, מכתב ישוד צהריים, ייפול מצידך 1,000 ורבבה ממניך אליך לא ייגש, אמן. רק בעיניך תביט ושילומת רשעים תראה, כי אתה אדוני מחסי עליון שמת מעונך, לא תעונה אליך רעה ונגע לא יקרב באוהליך, כי מלאכיו יצב לך, לשמורך בכל דרכיך, על כפיים אונך פן תגופה באבן רגליך, על שחל ופתן תדרוך, תרמוס כפיר ותנין, כי בי חשק ואפלתהו, אסגבהו כי ידע שמי, יקראני ועיניהו עמו אנוכי בצרה, אחלצהו ואכבדהו, אורך ימים אשביעהו ואראהו בישועתי. That was beautiful.
Okay.
Anybody want to
They
translate
do
to
it in
English?
English.
It was, but this is now is the point when I'm asking the difficult questions.
I mean, I didn't even think of that part of it. What was it? Nechetz Ya'uf Yomam. Nor the
Okay,
arrow
I
that
think-
flies by day. Lo tirami pachat laila mechetz Ya'uf Yomam. Okay, let's actually read this in English, maybe.
Okay.
Are we reading or are we doing a Bible study here, Jake?
Well, I thought we should start by
I appreciate that. Yeah.
then I thought we should actually translate it to English, and we can do Bible study. Like I mean, every verse is just. I mean, Yoshev Beseter Elyon by itself could take the rest until I have to leave. I have to leave in an hour or so. So take it away, Yosef.
Oh, me. Gosh. Oh, okay. So, yeah, this is liturgically we say this a lot. Jews say this a lot, and then a lot of people say this every single night after they say their Shema in bed. It's also, in addition to that, said every week at the end of Shabbat, and a bunch of other places. This is probably one of, even though it's like not in a major part of liturgy, it's part as terms like private prayer. It's a pretty big component. It's also thought to be a what do we call it? It's like an amulet psalm. So this is like the main, when we find ancient amulets, medieval amulets for Jews for protection. A lot of them are quoting the psalm. This is like the psalm for protection. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I don't know if I'm tempted to start with Yoav's questions, but since we haven't done it in English yet, maybe we'll do a little bit of a review in English, and then we'll go to Yoav's questions.
May I read it in English?
Yeah, that will
Yeah,
answer
please take it
answer
away, Kirk.
because-
Kirk, why don't you read the first? It does have a structure. Why don't you read like the first like 8 lines? Yeah, like the first 8 verses in English.
He that
Let's
dwells
split
in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, who is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust, that he will deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his pinions, and under his wings shalt thou find refuge. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come near thee. Only with thy eyes shalt thou behold and see the recompense of the wicked, because thou, O Lord, art my refuge.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Yoav, you want to take us away with some questions on that first
No,
half specifically?
Yeah, so just the difficult terms. Dever havut, the pestilence.
Mhm.
What is the
Oh, how you have or how you depending on how you pronounce it, is like a term for destruction or desolation. It also comes
Okay.
up. We also have kisei hayuot in the Psalm for Wednesday that we say. I think that's like 70 something, 73 maybe. Yeah, it's this term for destruction.
What line?
It's the
Midever,
second, third verse, last word in Hebrew.
so it's
Oh,
related,
I made a mistake.
Where did
Sorry.
you go? You're in the wrong Psalm.
Yeah, I am in the wrong sum. There we go. Midever
So-
havut.
Yeah.
so it is related to the word hoya, destruction.
Yeah, though here this is a very weird translation. I've never seen it.
Noisome pestilence.
That's a
Yeah.
weird. I don't like that. That's
Yeah,
It's the Koran. You like the Koran, generally.
it's not my preferred translation. I should probably go downstairs and get my altar and see. He usually has a good note on this stuff. If you click on it, you'll get your. If you click on the word, you should get your You're like double click on the word Hayot, and on the right side, there it goes. Chasm. Destruction. Yeah. Okay. Other questions on the first half?
Okay.
Before I, like, start talking?
We are flipping voices. We're
Mhm.
starting third voice, then
Mhm.
second line is first voice, and then third one is again third voice.
Yeah, and then in the second half of the poem, it actually goes into God's voice, which is why I didn't want to do the two halves together. It's a weird. I mean, this is typical. This is very, very typical for Tehillim almost always, and actually Stephen's here, right? Is Stephen still here? So Stephen can tell you, or maybe you want to talk about different voices in Psalms and how this is, a common pattern.
I hear.
We heard Stephen for all of
Yep.
1 second.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
actually written music for it to sing Psalms by. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit, but we got most of it.
Yeah, I'm having a really bad delay.
You might turn off your camera. That might help.
I think you're fine. Just keep talking.
Okay. While it is not talking.
So anyway, so Stephen, yeah, he has written music for choirs to split up the voices in these psalms, because this is very typical. Not every psalm, but most psalms switch between kind of a narrator and a second person or first person voice. This one is particularly interesting because it actually switches so many times, including into God's voice at the end, for verses 14, 15, and 14, I guess, and then maybe 15. It's confusing there. But 14, 15, and 16 probably are all the God voice.
Yeah, that was my comment. This should be read as for a choir, not as for a single
Mhm.
voice.
Yeah, totally. Anyone else? Anyone have some insights, questions, things in the text they like? That is one reading, Chazi. Yes.
Dude,
There is. there is. So Ketev is. Ketev is specifically a Canaanite deity of death. So there are people now. Usually, and typically, like what happens in Tanakh is they take words and they take out the reference to, like, they unpaganize them, they unpolytheize them, right? So they're going to use it as a word for death or destruction, but they're not going to actually like anthropomorphize it. And that here, that's true. Like it does not. It's semi-anthropomorphizes here because it actually does say that the Ketev will yashud Zaharayim, so it will it will destroy it. So it is kind of given a little bit of a verb active, but so there are people who read this as that for a demon. So the Canaanite deity becomes like a demon in that reading. It's kind of a Peugeotian way to read it. But mostly, right? So a lot of the things it's telling you you're going to be safe from are from wild animals, right? Shachal, Fetan, Kfir, and Tanin are wild animals. Those are not deities. And even the use of Ketev and Dever here, right? Like you could try to read them in a demonesque sense, but I don't like those readings. that's my preference. I'm too Maimonidean, maybe.
I have a question. So originally my question would be about anthropomorphism, but it seems like you kind of addressed that. My question I have is, does night symbolize like evil in Jewish tradition, like, or scariness, or like bad?
The night can be more dangerous, but it's not evil.
Okay.
Is Yashud a pun on Ketev being a demon?
I don't know that I would call it a pun, but you can see how dever is very anthropomorphized, right? So dever is yahaloch, it's stalks in the ophel, or it's
Mhm.
walking in the ophel, right? So dever is very anthropomorphized. So yashud might also be in that sentence. It
I mean, in
just means,
terms of the word shindalid.
yeah. So shade. I mean, I understand. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so Jacob's referring to the fact that in rabbinic Hebrew, demons are called shadim. So in that the word yashud biblically doesn't, I don't think it's ever used for demon, but it does come from a biblical root, which means to ruin or devastate. And it comes up a lot, right? So we get especially like when cities are destroyed or crops are destroyed. So we get this shudah or shudad, tishaded, right? We have a lot of these words, but it's I don't think it ever comes up actually in Torah, but it's a lot in things in the Proverbs and Psalms, and Jeremiah is very into this. Yeah. So it could be. I mean, yeah.
Joseph, is that moment of God's judgment or curse every day? Is that at night, or is that just in a
No, it's
daily?
actually during the daytime.
But like it's only known by folks like Balaam, right?
Yeah. So are you going by Yonasan now? No, Jonathan.
Hey, I mean, what's the difference, right?
Yeah,
It's
sure.
all the same.
Yeah, all the same. Okay, so he's referring to is in the Talmud. There is this concept that there's like one tiny fraction of a second every day where like God's anger is stronger than his mercy, and if Balaam, the prophet who is a prophet of God who tries to curse the Jews and fails, he's trying to identify that second where he can take advantage of God's anger.
Yep.
And he fails.
Right.
But that is during the daytime, and right, Balaam. And the entire story happens in the day. At night, he's actually talking to God. And if you think about the story, right, he has these dreams, and he's talking to God at night.
Yep.
So I mean, this. I'm sure we can go into a whole dream thing with Matthew Pajot stuff here, but yeah, so this is not that's not to be happening during the day, not the night.
It's daytime for him maybe, but like it's nighttime for the other side of the earth, right? So
Well, they don't have that concept though. I mean, that's not okay. The Bible's not thinking like that.
God's judgment is during the day. It's greatest revelation. Like, yeah, we're looking forward to, like, we are in the darkness when God does not judge clearly.
Okay, got it.
It's also like the day of great judgment, right? And a bunch of different prophets, but Zephaniah or Yoel or whoever, right? That's the great judgment comes when the day turns into kind of night, or it's neither night nor day, right? That's the phrase that's used. But that can only happen during the day, in a sense. And this is also tied to like Jewish law, where the Jewish courts can only judge during the day. They're not allowed to render judgment at night, right? There's a whole thing.
And for our Christian friends,
yeah,
the Gospel of John, the Gospel of John really does play off of that.
Mm-hmm.
The light and darkness, and they judge Jesus at night. Like, the Gospel of John is very aware of that.
Yep.
Shocker.
I think so. I mean, the other things here is as Jacob said, like we could go forever just on the first like three words, because in the Hebrew of the second word is seter, right? So seter means like hiddenness, or it's tied. So like this is the God who's like sitting in a lot of translations it has shelter or something for that word, but really it's not a shelter. It's really like something that hides you and keeps you a secret, right? At least, or but it's also the word for like God hiding his face when he doesn't like aster panim, like when people feel distant from God. That's the phrase we use, right? So he's the dweller in like this hiddenness of this transcendent hiddenness, right? But at the same time, as a transcendence, like it's not that you don't feel connected. Like the speaker of the psalm, right? David, or I actually think the psalm usually is attributed to Moses, because it's the psalm right before is Moses, and he's said to have written this whole section.
So has his comment here about twilight being the most dangerous? Is that's evening twilight, or
So twilight is twilight's
just-
the period between the
Between?
two. It's
Okay,
the
so
transition between night and day.
so it can happen in both directions. Yeah.
Yeah, so the mixing of night and day where it's not clear, that
Yeah.
is often, it's usually tied to like a lot of Kabbalistic ideas with water
Yeah.
and demons, and
Yeah.
that's not.
And also
not
just
my
like on a
specialty.
practical level, like my hunter friends tell me those are the 2 times you want to like hang out in your deer stand because that's when you're going to have your most chance of success is twilight.
Mm-hmm. So if you're the one being hunted, which is exactly what's happening, right? Like the person here is being hunted, they don't want to be out at twilight because that is when the hunters are active.
It's that spaceman meme where we're hunting the deer and then the demons are hunting us in the twilight. Right? Always was.
Yeah. So here, though, I was going to say it's interesting because you have this. You might think at the very beginning that there's a distance, a transcendence of God, that the guy doesn't feel God's presence, and yet he's then also saying that I'm actually in you being above and hidden, I'm actually being shaded and protected, and I'm like able to sleep. Lonan, right? Lina. Often, I mean, here it's abode, but it's tied to the ability you feel safe enough to sleep, right? To lodge, to pass the night there, which is also why it's said often at night, or as you entering the night, right? So again, tied to the twilight. And then you have all these words. This is a super common refrain in 2 and verse 2. You'll see David uses this language a lot, where he just like lists a bunch of like words for God protecting him. But you also see it in Hannah's prayer. Like it's not unique. It's just part of ancient Jewish prayer. Is like not calling God by a lot of different names as much as calling God by lots of different names for like how he protects you. So Sori, Machsi, Mutudati. You have like these lists. There's one verse I think somewhere that has like 8 different synonyms for the same concept, which is really cool. I think we did it. I think it was in 2 Samuel. Maybe David's prayer at the end there. And then you have all this interesting language, right? So he saved me from the fowler's trap, and then protect me under the pinions of your wings, right? So you have a lot of now, so not just hunting language, but we're very specific that this is a bird hunting language, and we get Israel's usually compared to a dove, right? And like in Psalms and things, like so that's not so crazy. But here, being under the wings of God, that's actually more the wings of eagles or whatever, vultures, however you translate Nesher, like that they protect their young either on top of or under their wings. I just love this language because it's also really clever, because it's so like they're playing with the wings are also being compared to shields, right? So there's like they're playing with like mixing military words with like biological words. It's just really clever. So we're basically like the little bird. We want to be saved from the traps of the fowlers, and we're the little bird, and you're like and God is the mother bird, right? Or maybe the father bird, depending. But it's not really gendered here. One way or the other, you're protected under God's wings. And then so you don't have to fear at night. Or during the day, right? So this is why it's not just nighttime. To the question on night, right? Like verse 5 is both day and night you're protecting me. There are nighttime. So one of the other prayers that we say connected to the Sabbath starts with it's actually right. It's right. It's going to be the next Psalm, in fact, 92, right? So it has the 3rd verse. To speak your chesed in the morning and faith at night. So like there's this tension kind of, but nighttime you don't see as clearly. You don't have that same level of revelation, so you need to have more faith. During the day, you can see clearly, but what you want to be able to see, what you're asking to be revealed is God's kind of love and understanding everything through his chesed, his loving kindness. Right? So here we have kind of the inverted version of that, which is at nighttime there's like terrors of the unknown. In the daytime, you actually do know what's coming at you, and you want to be protected from those arrows. But as Jacob is reading, he's reading this through the current attack in Iran. There's a whole other way to read this that applies it to like day-to-day stuff, obviously. And they're not just afraid of attacks, right? So we keep having the idea of plague coming up, Dever. That's one of the things in Egypt, right? And yeah, that's associated here with this Ophel. So Ophel is kind of like twilight. It's sort of like it's not a time of it's not a time of nighttime, but it's a time of darkened daytime, usually Ophel. So you get it with like Sinai, like under a volcano. The darkness there is also an Ophel. But here, and again, like we have kind of this like twilight time, then we have like noon. So again, you have this kind of tension or contrast between day and night, and clarity and not clarity of the types of things that might attack you. The 1,000 and 10,000 is interesting because all of you people who've been in Bible study every week, right? This whole crowd knows the phrase that Saul has killed his thousands and David his 10,000s, right? So this is again a common poetic refrain that we've had that you should recognize, where they kind of multiply by 10. So you should be protected from the thousands and the 10,000. So that's the first half. Yeah. Kirk, you want to get into the second half? Sorry, I'm talking.
Yeah, sure.
Second, to answer Kirk's questions about the
I'm not seeing his
Really?
question.
no, he said it. What is the treatment of the concept of darkness? I was always looking for the ancient Semitic word for black, because I know that white was the name, always has been the name for Lavan. And as far as I can scratch it, the ancient Semitic word for darkness was tzel and tzelmavet. And that had it started with having dark connotations. But when you live in a desert, suddenly being in the shadow is something that you seek.
Good. Great. You survive in the shadow.
So the ancient word for black, tzel, appears in a positive connotation in the first verse. So it is replaced by other terms in the sixth verse. They have to find another word for the bad darkness.
Yeah.
So there is a good darkness and a bad darkness.
But even Ophel isn't a bad darkness because Ophel is associated with Sinai. So Ophel has both positive and negative connotations, right? Moshe goes into the Ophel. So we have to be careful, I think, assigning it like a strong balance.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Am I in real time now? You know, I've grown vineyards all my life, so I've been a farmer all my life, and I can tell you that we think of disease coming in the night. The bad things that happen in your vineyard, and I'm in a town of orchards, and orchards and vineyards happens at night. It's unseen. It's the molds and the mildews that ruin your fruited crops. So I can tell you from a personal level, having grown these things, that you lay down at night and it's dark out, and it's a warm, humid night, and you know your vineyard is in trouble. And also the idea that that during the day you're outside doing things, you're in the sunlight, and as far as germs go, that's a bad environment. But at night you come into a warm, humid house, and you're all together in a group, and so one person's disease transfers to the other. And if you don't have a concept of how germs work, then that's pretty bad.
Interesting.
I have apple trees, and the aphid. I guess the aphids or the mold, like creates like this fuzz on them. It's terrible. Steven, you're not a hybrid creating new plants with your stuff, right?
Say it again.
He's asking if you're grafting.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, don't graft the vines.
Yeah, well, if you don't graft vines, they die because of a reason. So, but I buy the vines pre-grafted. So does it count that I buy them pre-grafted?
No, it doesn't count. But as long as it's not different species, you can.
Well, you
graft all the
can't. Yeah,
vines.
you can't grow vineyards without grafting them.
Yeah,
no,
but I
you're,
was talking
you're allowed to. Yeah, that's not
separate species though. That's the prohibition.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not crafting separate species.
Good for you. Good for you. I mean, just ignorance is not bliss.
This is true. Okay. Without getting too much into the agricultural, you were telling us about light and dark. Yosef.
Well, so I wanted to add to Yoav's thing. So Tzalmavet is one of the, in Ugarit, we know it's one of the seven sons of Mavet. So Mavet's the big death god in the Ugaritic Canaanite tradition. He has 7 either sons or helpers, depending on like what you read. Tzalmavet is one of those helpers originally. That's like where so Tzalmavet is specifically like, it seems to mean like the shadow death, right? Like it's literally right, like the shadow death. But the transformation of it is super fascinating, because by the time you get to Psalm like 23 or whatever, where God is your shepherd, you shall not wander, and you are passing through the valley of the shadow of death there, right? So the valley of the shadow of death is Tzalmavet, which seems negative, but then in other places, like in this psalm, you get Tzal or Tzalmavet as positive. And that is, now I don't know if Tzalmavet is actually used as positive. Tzel is often positive. But the thing about Tzalmavet, it comes up like a handful of times. I think it's usually still sort of kept as like a dangerous thing. But I have to think about it. I also say there is kind of a cool play here, right? With in verses 6 and 7. So as I said, Ophel is associated with Sinai, and going onto Sinai, like approaching God in the, we use this word Yigash, which is the last word in 7. So here, I think it has it as "you shall not reach you," or however they translated it. But there is something, Yigash ala Arafel or Yigash ala Ophel is this phrase about like who can approach God kind of in the cloud, the mist. With Coinbase, someone's so I think there's actually almost like an anti-Sinai happening here, like that you'll be protected in the shade, and they won't be able to approach where you're shaded, which is kind of almost like Moses on Sinai, and like the other people can't come up on the mountain, right? So there is kind of an interesting little throwback play here, probably.
I'm not sure I understand what it means. Rak be'enecha tabit.
Yeah, that's a good. That's he's talking about the beginning of verse 8. You'll see it. So it's a really weird phrase. How do you translate it? Oh shoot.
They translated, "Only with thy eyes shalt thou behold and see the recompense of the wicked."
Yeah. Why is it difficult?
Rak be'enecha tabit? Like, why rak?
Yeah, because excluding all the bad things that could have happened to you. Mm-hmm. So all that is happened, that is that you observed it.
Yeah, you shall watch the bad. Yeah, honestly, it's like we're sitting here, and I feel like this psalm is explaining what's going on. we're just watching war from afar.
Yeah.
So I think Yoav's on the money there. Like, instead of all these bad things happening to you, you'll be able. One, it'll be like daytime. You'll be able to see what's happening, but it's not gonna be hurting you. You'll be able to watch it in your shaded shelter under God's wings. You'll be watching it. And the way Malbim, I like Malbim's commentaries usually on Tehillim. So here he has only you shall watch it with your eyes, and you shall see those falling around you, and when you inquire, you'll see that this is the recompense of the wicked, that Hashem is recompensing them and punishing them with his providence in Kendall, and thus the evil, the destruction will not touch the tzaddikim, the righteous, who are providentially protected for the good.
One verse before that, number 7. When we were reading Kings, we often say that the word Aleph cannot possibly mean the 1,000. And I said that it means a flock. And that's okay. So what is Revava? Revava
is usually 10,000.
yeah, usually 10,000, but I think it means as much as the drops of rain.
I hear that. Yeah, it's like an uncountable. It's like it's the next level up of what do we say this when we talk about numbers? It's like just the next there's a word for this. Order of magnitude. It's the order of magnitude above.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
but I must say, I don't know, just back to the first verse.
Yeah.
I will read it in Hebrew. יושב בהסתר בית משפט עליון ובצד שדי התלונן.
Yeah. What about it?
So he's saying the setter could be a beit
No,
mishpat.
setter is when you're in a disconnected from God. God is hiding from you, or you're hiding from God. So Bet Mishpat Elyon is sitting disconnected from God, and in the shadow of God, he is complaining.
Oh, no, that's a Yitlonin. Instead of, I was wondering why you were changing Yitlonin to Yitlonin. Yeah.
I always make Jacob laugh.
Okay, it's a pun. Modern Hebrew politics. It's hilarious. Not worth explaining, I don't think.
Okay, I was wondering why you changed it there. I got you. Okay. So perfect though that you read that verse, because verse 9 is going to basically be a recap of verses 1 and 2. And right, so it's going to be but why don't we have Kirk? Is he still here?
Yeah.
Why don't you read the second half of our psalm from 9 to end?
Okay. Thou hast made the Most High thy habitation. No evil shall befall thee, nor shall any plague come near thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the crocodile shalt thou trample underfoot. Because he has set his delight upon me, therefore will I deliver him, and I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation.
Now in Hebrew, Kirk.
No, that was good. Yeah. So what questions, thoughts?
Let me think. Is there an idea in Judaism of the house as a mini heaven, like a reflection of God, like Most High thy habitation?
So the houses, individuals' houses are thought more as like mini. Especially dining rooms are often thought of as many temples, but not as many heavens. But there is a concept that your table is like an altar. This is a post-destruction, post-70 concept, where like that part of that of the temple kind of gets understood as being the synagogue, but there's a part of it that becomes part of the house.
Yeah, this word they translated dwelling is ohel.
It doesn't say house in Hebrew, which is important.
It's tent.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, tent being like the tabernacle, probably, but also like private tents, right? Like it's sort of playing with both. Where, yeah, and tune is a cool word. We don't get it very often.
What about these animal words? I never actually knew these animal words.
Yeah, what's an adder anyways in English?
An adder is a type of snake. So there are 4 different words for types of lions in Hebrew. We get a bunch of them. We get 2 of them here, shachal and kfir. Now feten, so you have it as adder. So I have as viper. It's probably actually really a cobra. It's okay. It's some sort of viper snake. we can talk about how they derived its cobra, but it's probably something in that family. So it is weird because you get this like, these are not things that normally pair together, like lion and snake, and then lion and tanin. Tanin can mean snake, but usually means something closer to a crocodile. But there's lots of evidence that it can also be read as snake, and this is probably, and tanin is usually connected with things like Leviathan or Tiamat, or like in Canaanite literature, tanin is one of the sea beasts, but then becomes very specifically associated to Egypt and the crocodile kind of god of Egypt. Here, though, it seems to probably be the snake version. If you remember in Exodus, when he throws down the staff, it says it becomes a tanin, but earlier it said it would become a snake. So there's a question there of does it actually become a snake or a crocodile? There's a strong argument that in many places, though, tanin actually should be a snake. This is one of them. But why lions and snakes? You know, that's a symbolism question. Like, if anyone wants to like try to figure out like why those two specifically, and it's not.
Well,
just, like,
I mean, it
They're
says
scary.
Tidros. I mean, I was thinking initially of Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right. So trampling the snake makes sense. Trampling the lion is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's also very clearly, by the way, this there's been a very good argument that this poem is actually not just like, obviously there's the traditional one that goes to Moses, but like academics have argued that this is actually one of the really early Psalms, in at least thematically, because of how desert oriented it is. It's all about people's, like, the danger of the desert. You're going to fall and stumble and, you know, kick a stone. What you're afraid of is animals of the desert. There's all this play with shade, right? So like, this is one of these where the academics almost sort of agree with the Jewish tradition, and like, they don't necessarily, academics aren't going to say Moses wrote it necessarily, but they're going to say like, this actually might be from the time when the Jews really were wandering in deserts, or like spending a lot of time in deserts, because like this is super desert focused.
Who wrote this one?
Well, that's the question. So traditionally that it's attributed to Moses, because in Psalm 90, which is right before it, it says a prayer either for or by Moses, man of God. And then there's a question of like, how many, like, is that just for that one psalm, or is it actually for the psalms that follow it? So there's a tradition that these next, I think, 10 psalms are all from Moses.
What
90
percentage are from David?
Well, so there is a very clear point, end of, I can't remember which psalm it is, maybe 70, that says like, this is the end of the Psalms of David. So after that, there's a question about the remaining psalms and how many are David and not.
David's side A.
Yeah. So there's 5 books. The Psalms is traditionally divided into 5 books, between 150 psalms.
Okay.
And in the Talmud, they have a list, I think, of 10 different authors for the Book of Psalms. David certainly writes the most, but he's considered the sole author. And there's a whole question, because there's all these attributions, right? So there's Asaph, there's the Bnei Korach. So like, you know, what are these attributions? Are they, like, you know, some of them might sound like they're choir directors or something, right? Some of them might be the actual composers of the psalm. Like so there are these kind of ambiguities, but we're totally okay traditionally saying that David did not write every single word in the Book of Psalms, because that is not our tradition.
Yeah.
Would the tent be more of a desert thing?
Well, yeah. So the tent is a desert thing. Yeah, there's a lot of indications that this is probably related to that. There's a question with that tent, though. Is that an individual tent, or is that God's tent, like the tabernacle? And is this about like whether are they being protected from like a plague from disobeying God? Right. Like, we have lots of those in the wilderness. Like, and that is this like a prayer kind of a protection from those types of plagues? Is a whole other way to like read this thing. That's going to take a lot.
And the verb chalutz is very an interesting one. Achabdehu va'achaltzehu va'achabdehu.
he's
Like
in
those are
verse
two
15.
things that I would not expect Betzara.
Do you want to explain why in English to it?
Sure. So it says, I will be with him in trouble. Specifically, Tzara means like straits, like the Strait of Hormuz, you know, the when things are not wide and when they're constricted, right? So in constricted times, achaltsehu v'achabdehu, chalutz means like to like taken off. Well, I guess that makes sense, right? To be like freed, I guess, kind of. What are in it, like infantry are called chalutzim in modern Hebrew?
Well, the Chalutzim are pioneers too, right? But chalatz is to like equip or arm, right? It can also mean the opposite. It can also mean to like withdraw or to like. So there's a question, I guess, is achalatzehu being that God is like arming you, or is it that God is like rescuing you? Like, it depends. Like, there's two ways to read this: as the active versus the passive kind of like participant. Are you right?
Yeah. And the achabdehu doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I mean, like, honor him, make him heavy. Like, that's Betzara, like, kavod is not exactly like an opposite or like what you would how you would reverse tzara. So
well, so Ibn Ezra reads this as basically, I will like arm or equip him, and then like he will get kavod from being like he won't need my saving because I've given him the equipment to save himself, basically. So like there is kavod in war, right? There's kavod in that context.
Correct.
So like
I mean
that
would make it. I guess that would make you heavier. Yeah.
it would also make you heavier, but I think it's also like the honor of war, right? Of success in war. That's not the only way to read this, obviously. The other way is the passive way that God is saving you, and then it is weird to say that it's achbadehu. So someone has to explain it.
A second before
here, so Radak sort of has that as oh shoot, I'm getting a phone call. I'll have to be right back.
Just when I was going to ask Yosef the important question that Don asked, is Psalm 110 the most controversial regarding authorship? I don't know what Psalm 110 is.
Yeah.
I guess we could look.
Meanwhile, I want to comment still about the animal names. They were chosen for rhythm and poetry reason. In Hebrew, it just sounds beautiful because it goes al shachal. Al is above and shachal is the lion. So they choose the word for lion that goes with on. So al shachal. Shachal was chosen to go together with Al. Now, Peten was chosen to rhyme with Tanin because both of them has the Tan. It's Peten and Tanin. So they choose two snake-like animals that just go well together. And then finally, Tidroch and Tirmos rhyme together.
Rhyming is a thing. Rhyming is definitely a thing.
This rhymes. The choice of animal names is to make it rhyme several ways.
Yoav, your microphone seems to be picking things up. Oh no, that's me. Sorry, that's my problem.
Still happening.
Yeah, I can't seem to tell how exactly, like, it's not telling me where the sound is coming from. But as Don asked about Psalm 110, Psalm 110 is probably the most controversial because it's the most controversial. And yeah, part of the controversy is definitely over whether it is for a psalm to David or a psalm by David. So there's definitely a lot of controversy by Christians around Psalm 110. Yes.
Is there controversy
Okay,
among
can you-
Jews about Psalm 110?
No,
No.
most Jews don't care at all.
Yeah, it's
No,
only
it's
it's
not-
only a problem if it says, Jesus says to Jesus.
It cannot be that it is double because of I'm with headphones.
Yeah, I think your microphone might be catching something. I don't know what though. And it's not obvious that it's you.
No, it's fine now. It's fixed.
Yeah.
It's probably Kirk.
I was muted the entire time.
I know.
Yeah, he was muted. That was the thing. I was actually muting people and going around and saying
It's
who.
probably
the problem.
Skankenstein who disappeared.
Nope, I tried muting him too.
Well,
Sorry,
then it's Steven,
Must have
the
been.
the noob.
I muted him too. I don't. I think it's a
Me.
problem. It may have been a problem with StreamYard actually, but let's not
fine.
let it.
We're back. We're back.
Yes.
All right.
Let's-
I've lost the audio feed a couple times.
All right. What's
Yeah,
new?
I think StreamYard might be having trouble with simply the fact we have so many people. Maybe I'm
don't-
not sure.
Oh,
And Jason is 100% correct. It was a demon.
yes, that's right.
That
We should ignore it.
Okay.
Again, in Hebrew, shed rhymes with head. Echo rhymes with a demon.
What rhymes with what?
Shed, head.
Okay, I'm not sure what you're trying to say.
Shed is a demon, head is echo.
Oh, echo. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I don't. My modern Hebrew is not very good. As you may have noticed. Have you noticed, Yoav?
No?
Okay. I don't know. Anything else anyone wants to say? Matt, you haven't said much. Speak.
Me, Matt. Hi. How's it going?
Hey. What do you think of this psalm?
What do I think of this psalm? It's hard to get a whole picture just because we've been going kind of like piece by piece, and usually I try and like look at the whole and understand the pieces through it. It is kind of like really interesting and fascinating the connections you guys are making to contemporary experience. That's kind of like frankly beautiful.
Who are these angels?
Yeah, that one verse, Ki malachav yetzav, like this is one of the most common verses that people will recite in Hebrew, even if they don't speak Hebrew. So many people, if not most people, recite this verse at the end of Shalom Aleichem at Kiddush. So when we say Kiddush on Friday nights, most people recite a poem that's only about 500 years old called Shalom Aleichem at the beginning, and they will end it with, which, I mean, so Shalom Aleichem is kind of a welcome to the angels and a send-off to them. And at the end, people recite these verses, Ki malachav yetzav elach lishmorcha bechol derechecha, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. I don't like that. I would translate it, for he commands his angels to be with you, to keep you in all your ways. yeah, and I mean, again, angel, nowadays when we talk about angel, we never think of just a messenger, but that's what an angel was. It was a messenger, right? And people talk about biblically accurate angels, and while in the prophets you will find angels that are described in quite extravagant terms, specifically Ezekiel. Most angels in the Bible appear to be, including the Christian Bible, actually, I believe, if appear like normal human beings. So, yeah, who are these angels?
But they aren't personal angels, is I think what I was getting at. They're messengers of God. They're not your possessions of some way. Like these aren't angels.
The Hebrew is quite clear, malachav, because his angels he will command over you. Yeah, that is definitely true. Jason says, I am of the opinion that the angels visiting Sodom were Moses and Elijah. Do you have any thoughts on that, Jacob? I don't. Yeah, that's not my view of angels, really, at all. Sorry. RJ wants to do the weekly parsha.
It doesn't make sense because the whole point of the story of Moses that he never gets to see the promised land. So
so if he's in Sodom, yeah. Good answer there.
I agree with RJ. I think we should do the weekly parsha.
Weekly parsha. We could do the weekly parsha. I might actually leave you guys to it though, because I have to get to work.
Yeah, it said only 15 minutes today. We're going for an hour.
Yeah, I mean,
false advertising.
That never happens on my channel ever. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming. It was really good to see you, Stephen, especially I haven't seen you on very often. Later, people.
Kill it.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna kill it. You guys can keep it going.
You all will have to lead us.
No, I'm no leader, never.
I lost audio again.
We can hear you. Oh, here comes Yosef again.
Yosef enter. Yosef, you're the leader.
Oh, what a relief.
Where's Yosef?
He to Adam, I guess.
Oh.
How come you can't
Do
sell
you want to
Adam?
read the weekly parsha?
Wait, what?
Yosef is here. I cannot
Yeah,
see
well-
him.
Welcome
Let's
back,
see.
Yosef. You have to lead the weekly parsha.
Oh.
Are you ready?
Unless you want to answer questions related to Kirk questions.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry I had to leave there. I had a doctor calling me.
Jacob just bailed.
You can make concluding remarks on the chapter.
Yeah, Yosef.
Leading remarks on the chapter.
Land this jumbo jet.
Unless, I mean,
So it is
Yeah.
interesting that so usually this psalm is connected to the one right before it, and often when we read the psalm, we start it by saying the final line of the previous chapter, even though we know it's not part of the same psalm. We do think that the two are connected, and the previous psalm is connected. It's about like the mortality of human beings. But for some reason, it's connected to the building of the temple, and that's probably because of the tabernacle, because of the final line, which is like may like the pleasantness of the Lord our God be upon us, and the and the work of our hand be established for us, and may the work of our handiwork be establish it. So like that line, this is why I do think that Psalm 91, there's a nice and interesting reason to actually connect it to the tabernacle and to as a protective blessing on being able to kind of have the tabernacle in your midst and understand it as a refuge and a shield, which is also like part of the clouds of glory and all those other things, right? Which is also, I mean, I know Jacob was curious about this word achbadehu, but one of the connections is ananei hakavod, the clouds of honor, glory, whatever, but that is the same word, right? So you have this protective element of being able to contain God. So instead of, I think the natural inclination is to read this poem out of context as being something about protection against external threats and demons and whatever, however you want to read that side, and not really being protected in some sense from God. And yet I think this poem in the certain context does seem to read more as an internal, like how do you have the proper orientation so God's protection works and you aren't harmed by his presence. There's a very different way to read it, but I think it's actually I think it's a really good argument that is often how Jews read this poem liturgically, even if they don't actually think about it too deeply. There's also this beautiful thing, right? I don't know if you guys talked about the beginning of verse 14, but it's is like love, desire, yearning, right? Like it's this really beautiful emotive language of like the reason that God is saving the person in distress in this prayer is because of how much they yearn for God. And in that yearning sort of is this protective element. And then you have this cool thing with Askaveu Kidashmi, because he knows my name. So there's a whole very long kind of discussion over what it means God's name is and what it means to know God or participate in God's name or what type of 4 P's and type of knowing it is. But that you can yearn for God, and it doesn't mean you grasp him, but somehow you still know him in that yearning. So there's a lot of kind of beautiful sort of maybe semi-mystical or at least a little bit wooey esoteric stuff here going on, even in kind of the basic reading that I think like we shouldn't just necessarily skip over. I love the end of this. It's such a cool. The ending of this poem is really cool.
I have something to contribute to that, but it's a little tangential. If that's okay? Is that okay?
Let's see how tangential it is.
So, are you familiar with existential psychiatry at all?
Psychiatry, as in the use of medications for existential?
Well, or existentialist psychology, like psychotherapy.
Yes, a little bit.
Okay, this kind of reminds me of Karl Jaspers' notion of limit situations, where basically an individual is confronted with a limit, and then they transcend the limit through finding meaning with the transcendent other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that fits a lot with the concept of the narrowness, right? And that's part of the transcendent limit is the narrowing, and being released from that narrowness. I'll say for those, yeah, that's good. I like that connection. That worked well. And on that, I appreciate it. I will say that the other thing that clearly connects 90 and 91 is 91 has this like non sequitur at the end, which is about like the long life and seeing salvation, and that's entirely the theme of the Psalm 90. So so reading them as a unit, I think. Sorry, I don't want to skip. Kirk's point was really good. That limit point and talking about that, I think makes a lot more sense if you read 90 and 91 together, because 90 is all about the finitude of man, how one overcomes, that finitude, the transcending that, and like there is something to like both accepting the finitude, but also like seeing past it. And I think it's a much stronger reading in 90 than it is in 91. But if you read them together, you kind of get both sides of it.
Yeah.
And also like 90 is very clear that the threat, the fire, the things that you're trying to be protected from is actually God. Like God is the thing, like the wrath that confronts your iniquities and purifies you, and deals with your immaturity, and God's fury passes over your days and consumes years like a fleeting thought. The days of our years, among them are 70. And even there it talks about anyway, cut off swiftly and we fly away. Who knows the power of your anger? But then it has again, it switches voices. Not in the same way as this one does, but it does switch from the super fear of God mode to this loving mode, at verse between 11 and 12, basically, right? It switches suddenly. And then 91 switches even more because it goes into first person, right? As opposed, and I think 90 is entirely in the plural, if I remember, and that switches also in 91. So there's arguments to read them both separately and together, I guess, but there's they form a unit either way.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any anything to say about the psalm?
0.
Zero.
Yeah, call. Joseph is gonna call again. I'm leaving.
I am getting a call again.
Say, I gotta take off too. See you guys.
All right. Peace in the Middle East. Bye.
And of course, I have to log on to end the stream because people forgot.